Good morning. I am SisterLenaLove. Welcome to Kitchen Conversations. Today I want to talk about something my mother always had told us as young girls when we were growing up. She always had said, God blessings add no sorrow. And she usually would say that when we done something we should not have done. But that came across my mind just recently, and I just wanted to expound on that. So God blessings have no sorrow. And when you look up sorrow, because a lot of times we think about certain things over our lifetime and we just put our own definition to it. So it's good to go and research where it came from to make sure we got things on right. Because when we look at God blessings have no sorrow, that whatever God blesses you with, you won't be sad. That's how I kind of finalized it. But sorrow is defined as a feeling of deep distress caused by loss, disappointment, or other misfortune suffered by oneself or others. I'll say it again. A feeling of deep distress caused by loss, of disappointment, or other misfortune suffered by one's self or others. Now, the sorrow part comes in as that God bless and add no sorrow. The sorrow part comes in at with the knowledge that you could have avoided this. I know you have been through some things where you knew better, but you did it anyway. You knew to do better. If you find yourself asking yourself, should I? More times than not, you should not. If you find yourself asking yourself, should I do that? Most time you should not. Because usually when you need to, it's an automatic. Why you asking yourself something? Why you asking yourself, should I? And you know you already should. It's already been confirmed. So the sorrow comes in and with the knowledge of knowing that you could have avoided this. You knew better. Back in the day, we would say this: you got played. Oh, it's deep sorrow when you know you got played. Red signs flying everywhere. You ain't trying to read nothing. Stop sign in front of your eye. You ain't trying to read nothing. Everything green. Everything green. You got played. And you can put this on any part of your life you want to put it on, baby. You can put it on life, personal, business, whatever. You got played. And it's sorrow in that because there was no fruitfulness in a time that you spent in that thing. I hate wasting my time because that means that you got to go back to the drawing board, and do it again. Now, I ain't talking about something you're trying to, test and trial out, to see if it worked well. You plant some flowers. I'm going to use this soil. Fruit didn't come out like you want to. Next year, you try something else. Right there, you perfecting that thing. But things that you should not do, you didn't even have to go down that road. If somebody told you, hey, Sister Love, when you potting plants and doing that, you use potting soil. You don't use fertilizer soil you put in the ground. You don't use that soil. If somebody told you that, but you still did the opposite, that's being unfruitful. But you understand that what I'm saying really applies to things that go real deep. That stuff that make you cry at night. That stuff that makes you your stomach just turned over. That type of stuff. In Ecclesiastes or something like that, you know what I'm talking about. Chapter 1, verse 18 says this: for in much wisdom, and this is the King James Version, for in much wisdom is much grief, And he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow. And anytime you see the TH on the end of the words in the King James versions, means continuously of that word. So, for in much wisdom is much grief, and he that increaseth, he that continuously learn and increases knowledge, wisdom, increaseth, constantly growing, sorrow. Why? Because you begin to realize that you messed up. You begin to have wisdom to know the truth and know better, and then you'll do better. With increased knowledge comes increased sorrow, because you learn to know, man, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have said that. And you will have deep regret, because you know things could have turned out much better. Because you know once things are done, they are done. In the course after that, the consequences just roll out. You know, some things you can't turn the hands of time back on and fix. It just ain't gonna happen. So you realize your way was not the way. You know, it's just like our children. You know, if I tell my kids something, hey, child, do this, and it don't work out, I really would feel obligated to try to make that thing right, because he took my advice or she took my advice. Now, when you begin to take your own road, which I don't even know the outcome of, you're going to have to deal with it yourself. It's the same thing with us, with God. God say, hey, child, come up here. I want you to go forgive her or him who did you wrong. I want you, okay, child? I want you to pray for her, the one that did this and that to you. Come here, child. Come here, child. I want you to go bless that person who will never give you anything back in return. See, you have to realize that his way, God's way, is the way. In the book, it's Jesus says, I am the truth, the way, and the life. No man can go to the Father except by me. You have to know Jesus, know his ways, know his sayings, what to do to please God, what to do. He was the only perfect thing that walked this earth. Okay? You have to know the way of the truth, the way of the light, the way of God. Because if you do what he told you to do and things go left field because the other person, still have their own choices that they can make. And if it go left field, God will bless you. And here is the blessing right here. God blessings have no sorrow, but some will surely make you sad at first. At first. Because you may go and bless that person, they still may cuss you out. You still may pray for that person, they still may do you wrong. It may make you sad at first. But if you do what God said to do, what you feel in your spirit, what God has confirmed in the natural, what he done told you in the spiritual, this is what happens. And the difference between some stuff you messed up and what some stuff that God told you to do that went left field. Because he already know everything. God blessings bring, hear me now. God blessings bring perpetual fruitfulness, which leads to peace. Oh yes. Let me say that again. God blessings bring perpetual fruitfulness that leads to peace. What that is saying is this: perpetual, never ending or changing. That means continuously. You see, that's the difference between knowing the wrong way and the right way. God blessings add no sorrow, but you may be sad at first. Let me tell you, it's many of times I have did what God told me to do at the beginning. I'm like, God, don't make any sense. But I did it anyway. And let me tell you, the outcome, oh my God, God opened up the gates of heaven and he opened them up wide for us, sister. I'm telling you, he did. To the next time that it became easier for me to do just that. And easier and easier. So now when God be like, go over there and bless that person, go over there, pray for that person, whatever, no problem. Because I understand that the blessing behind it is a perpetual fruitfulness that leads to my peace. I may cry because you hurt my feelings. But guess what? I'm going to get over that. Lord, just that hurt. Oh, it cut. But I'm good, God, because I know you got me. I know you got me. And the outcome, it pours over into, it gives me so much peace, and it pours over into having good relationships, having, being a good worker at my job, being a good wife. So God blessings have no sorrow. Doesn't mean that you may not be sad. Be blessed.